Hello, welcome to another session of Microsoft Excel. We have been learning a lot of important functions and features from the last few sessions. Today, we will be learning about two other important functions. We will be starting with formatting painter, followed by text format. Let's begin our session for today. So what is format painter? The Format Painter on the Home tab is to quickly apply same formatting such as color, font style, size, border style to multiple pieces of text and graphic. The Format Painter lets you copy all the formatting from one object and apply it to another one. So what is Format Painter actually? What happens is, let's say you have added a lot of text. Now most of the text is in different font, or you have copied certain text from somewhere where the font has changed. But when you're submitting the document, you would want the font to be same. Similarly, with the font size or with the font style or even the color, you would want it to be uniform. Well, it's not possible to do it each and individual cell manually. For example, let's say if somewhere the font style is Times New Roman and in another cell the font style is Georgia, you would want either both of the cells the font to be Georgia or to be Times New Roman, not two separate fonts in one single spreadsheet, right? To do that, you do not need to change it manually because one, it is very time intensive. Second of all, you're putting a lot of effort in changing each and every cell and making it uniform. You might be required to do a lot of changes. So there is one icon and one button to help you all. Format Painter is the button here. Format Painter lets you quickly apply the same formatting styles which is there already existing to the whole document. Let's see how to do it. So we'll go back and we will go to the Microsoft Excel document that we were working on. So let's say I write, so here itself I'll change the font style. I've put here Arial. Here I will put the font style as Sans. Here I will put the font style as Georgia. And here I will put the font style as Times New Roman. Now, when you're doing this, do you think this looks good? On a very keen eye, if you look into it, you can see the different font styles that has been created. Now, for example, if you're sharing it as an Excel file, as a spreadsheet itself, if I click onto it, I also see there are different font styles that has been applied here. And that does not look good at all, right? It is always better to have one single font. So let me select 4 of these and let me put the same font style. So I've put Arial in all of them, right? So in a very similar manner, when you use format, you will be changing it. But let's say I do Control Z and I'll want to use Format Painter. So you select the serial number, let's say here, and you want Arial. So select the serial number and you go to clipboard. Now clipboard, you will find it in home ribbon button itself. And you see this painting icon, you click onto it, right? And you apply it here. Again, you click onto it and apply it here as well. So whichever cells you want it in whichever font style, you will be able to do it. For example, you can also click in this to here and see all the cells right now will have the font style changed as Arial, right? And the font size will also change. Now, for example, you want the font style to be different here. What you can do is you can select them and reduce it depending on your requirement. Now, let's say I'm going to give it a style here. I want to add a border here. Yes. I want to fill the cell with this color, and this is how I want the cells to look like. What you can do is select this and also make it center aligned. Select this, do Format Painter, and once you click on all the three, all of the three will look as that you have made it uniform. See, now it looks much more better. So always use Format Painter for this, because whenever you're using Format Painter, you will be able to make the document more uniform. Your text, your all the data that you have input, it will look similar also. Now you can do it with similarly, let's say you can do it with this cells also. So let's say here I have decided to do a color, right? I've added a border. Yes, I have also changed the font color to blue, make it bold, and make it center aligned, right? So what you do is click onto this too and do Format Painter, and after that click on to the other cells, drag it and change the same. Now you see it looks exactly the way it's supposed to look. It looks uniform, it looks better, and most importantly all your cells are proper, right? The whole text is put in a proper manner. This is how Format Painter is useful for us, right? Now that we have learned about Format Painter, the next thing that we will be learning about is text orientation. The users want to change the way the data appears in a cell. You can rotate the font angle or change the text alignment. What is text orientation? Now you know how the page orientation is. Either it's portrait or landscape. In a very similar manner, we can also change the text orientation. So let's see how to do that. We'll go back and we will go to this document, okay, and let's select this one. And in the alignment section itself, you'll see AB written. The icon is AB written with a sideways arrow. Click onto this and you will be able to see the kind of orientation you would want. So for example, if you go for angle counterclockwise, it will be in this way, right? Now we're just working on this cell itself. Or example, you want to do clockwise, it will be in this manner, right? The next thing is the vertical text, which is this, which is the normal uh, default alignment and default orientation. You have a rotate text up as well, where you see it's gone sideways, right? Then you have the rotate text down. See, it has got reverted. Then you can do format cell alignment as well. Now, let's say, for example, we'll make this into the default one. You're putting something in this side. So for example, you want to write something here, right? So you have decided to put a text. For example, I'll merge this and I will write student data. And I have written this. I have wrapped the text. Now, how do I want to look it? So what I can do is rotate text up and it looks like this. And you see, I can do and make the text look really visually pleasing. So the way you want to align the text, right? You do not have to now think about how to make it an image and then put it sideways. No, you can directly do it from Microsoft Excel itself. That means it saves up a lot of your time when you want to put some text, which is facing a different side and not the normal side. So let's say, I want to rotate this text down, I can do that as well. Or let's say I want to make it counterclockwise, I can do this as well. So let's say you want to cancel certain things. Certain sales has been cancelled. You can collect those cells, put it a color, And on the next cell, you can write cancelled. Again, the next set of products, you can write approved. In this way also, you will be able to do this. So each and every cell, each and every data that you input, the way you want it to be aligned, you can align that in your, as per your requirement and the way you want it to let this look, right? So this is how the text orientation works. This is a very, very important function. It's a very new function as well. So make sure that you do not have to now waste your time in creating different font styles and aligning it in a different way in certain apps, editorial apps. Instead, what you can do is just add the text, and with a click of a button, with the click of the text orientation only, you will be able to place it in that manner, right? So this is all about text orientation. Now, for references, please make sure that you can visit support.microsoft.com and know more about the Microsoft Painter, also how to align and rotate text. Then also, if you have some extra time, do attend a course in Microsoft Learn on Microsoft Excel and earn few extra credits. Now it's time for assignment. So for the assignment, open Microsoft Excel in your desktop, and if it's not there on your desktop, please visit www.office.com to open Microsoft Excel. There's a data which I'll be showing it to you, which you have to add it in your spreadsheet. Add a proper template there, wrap the text in the country column, and also change the currency to US dollars. Okay, so let's understand how to do this assignment. So I'm going to show you the spreadsheet that I'll be sharing with you. As you can see, this is the spreadsheet, right? And here you will be knowing what are the different countries that are there, the market which is there, products which are there, discount units sold, manufacturing prices. You have to make sure you can see all the cells: sales price, gross sales, discount, sales, COGS, and profit. Just add this whole document. What you do is you should apply a wrap text here. Yeah. All this should be changed. Also, wherever you're seeing rupee should be changed to US dollars, and apply a template here, an appropriate template. Choose an appropriate template and apply the template here, right? So this is the first part of the assignment that you will be doing. It's a very simple assignment. Copy the text from the PDF and then change all of this currency that you see in rupee to dollars, and make sure that you're formatting this and wrapping the text in the country and applying a proper template to this. Please share your screenshots, and hopefully we will see you in the next session. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome to another session of Microsoft Excel. Now that we have learned all the important features of Microsoft Excel, we will be learning about the formulas and functions for which Excel is known for and used for. Today, we will be starting our session with what exactly are the formulas in Microsoft Excel, and then we will be learning about how to do sum in Microsoft Excel. So, what is formulas? Formulas are the most important feature of Microsoft Excel. You can calculate data, numbers, use it for data analyst. There's a library of formulas which are available in Microsoft Excel, and calculations can be conducted easily and fast. So let's learn what is the formula bar and what are the different formulas that are available in Microsoft Excel. So we'll go back and we will go to the Microsoft Excel page. As you can see, we will be in the formulas, and here you see there are different formulas that are there, right? For example, you can use auto sum where we have the sum, average, count numbers, maximum, minimum, and more functions as well. You can also see hyperlink, count, sin. You have recently used. So all the mostly used formulas also can be found here. Then you have financial formulas, which is mainly used for accounts purpose. You have logical formulas. Then there is text-based formulas, date and time, the way you can format date and time in Microsoft Excel. There is lookup and references, maths and trigonometry, and more function depending on statistical, engineering, cube, information, compatibility, and web. So this huge library of formulas can be used for analyzing data and numbers depending on your data set and your requirements. It is absolutely important that you know the right formulas to use and make your calculations easy and faster. For example, if you are calculating about, let's say 100 sets of data where you want to know the population and you're calculating family by family with each and every family member present, it doesn't mean that you have to write formulas and in each and every column. You can drag the formulas as well, copy them so that you get all your sums together. So it is really easy to do formulas, and even if you want to know more about the formulas, there are tutorials that are available with support.microsoft.com for you to check on how to use those formulas as well, right? So today we will be starting with the sum formula, which is addition. So let's go back to the presentation. Now, what is the sum formula? The sum function adds values. So you can add individual values, cell references or ranges or mix of all three. For example, if you put equal to sum A2 is to A10, you will get all the values from A2 to A10. And if you are looking for sum A2 is to A10 and C2 is to C10, you will get all the values of both the cell ranges. So let's see how to do sum formula in Microsoft Excel. So we will again go back and we'll go to here. Now let's write the numbers first. So we'll go now, for example, if we just want to calculate this two, the sum of these two numbers, right? What I can do is I can select a cell and I can write equals to sum, put a bracket and select this and this two. A comma, set, and I will get the sum for this number, right? So the one way to do it is if you see the formula bar equals to sum and you select the first cell, put a comma and select the next cell and you get the sum. Now for example, I want to do equals to sum. I'll start from here, put a comma and do this, again put a comma, sorry. Make sure you're pressing the control as well. select this cell. So whenever you're selecting the cell, select, press Shift and enter. Again, put a comma, sorry. And I'll keep on adding the commas. So I will add the commas here as well. Here. And what I will do is I will put the bracket in and I will press enter and I will get the addition. Now the one way to check is if you can select all of them together. Yes. In the bottom taskbar, you will see that it is written sum 3223, count 10 and average 322.3. So you get the sum also of the selected cells. So it's not that you always have to use sum here, but it's always better to use a formula whenever you are putting the numbers and whenever you're adding a group of numbers here, right? You can also do equals to sum, right? First number, okay, then put a colon into last number and close the bracket and do enter and you get the same sum. So isn't it easy? What you can do is equals to sum. First insert this cell, right? Select this first cell of the addition, then put a colon and then put the second, the last cell that you want to add. So you select the whole range and add it and you will get the sum of the whole cell, right? Whole cell range. So whenever you want to do it, one way to do as I showed you was that you can do sum and then you keep on inserting each and every number, right? So you can do equals to sum, then this cell, then the second cell, then third cell, and you can keep on inserting cells and putting commas in. The other way to do is if you're doing a cell range, for example, you can just take out, select the first, put sum equals to sum, select the first cell, put a colon, select the last cell of the cell range, close the bracket, and you get the same sum. The other way to see what is the addition is select the cell range, right? So you select the whole cell range. And if you see at the bottom taskbar, you will get the sum of the numbers. So sum of the selected cells is always readily available at the bottom taskbar, right? So make sure that you're using the sum button whenever you want to add up numbers. And the best way to use it is either select the whole cell range and use the colon method, or you can even insert it depending on which are the selected numbers that you want to add up and see the addition sum of, right? Hope you have understood what and how to use the sum formula. To learn more about the formulas, please visit support.microsoft.com. You can also know more about the sum function and few examples to it. Also, if you get some time, make sure that you're logging into Microsoft Learn and learning about Microsoft Excel for and earn some extra credits. Thank you. Welcome to another session of Microsoft Excel. In the previous session, we started learning about the formula that is available in formulas that are available in Microsoft Excel. And then we learned about the sum function. Now, Microsoft Excel has a library of formulas. And most importantly, the basic formulas that we use are the arithmetic formulas. So something like sum, average, subtraction, multiplication, division is something that we use on a regular basis, right? So in today's session, we will be learning about the very basic formula, which is average formula. Now that we already know how to do sum, we will be doing average function as well. When and why do we require average is also something that we will be knowing. So today's session is all about average formula. Now, what is average formula? See, the average is, let's say you have a group of cell range, numbers that are inputted in cell ranges, right? And there you want to know all the numbers that are input, what exactly is the sum and what is the average. That means, for example, you have put cost prices of 10 uh, 10 different products and you want to know what is the average cost price. What you can do is just use a simple average formula. Please note that this is a basic arithmetic formula. This is not a statistical formula that we will be using, right? Now, the average syntax is that we use the whole syntax. For example, in addition, we use sum. But for average, we write average, right? So that means that you get to know the arithmetic mean. So for example, if the range in A1 to A20 contain numbers, the formula will be average A1 to A20. Now, as I said that I'm using Microsoft Excel version 2021, the thing is all my columns are number labeled, not letters labeled like it was in the previous version of Microsoft Excel. So the same way that we computed sum formula, we will be computing average formula. Now, always make sure that you're inserting the, when you're looking for average, if you might be looking it for two numbers or for more than 10 numbers, right? Or 15 numbers for that matter. There is no limit in the cell range when you're calculating average. And then there are two ways to calculate average, by the way. One is the most easier method where if you select the cell range in the bottom of the taskbar where you can find the sum formula, you will be able to see the average as well. And the next is using the average formula. Now let's learn how to use the average formula. So I'll go back and I am in this Microsoft Excel document again. Now you see this is the whole group of numbers that I've written. If I select all of them together, I already can see the average of the selected cells. Let's start adding some more numbers and getting some more averages. So for example, so this is the 10 numbers that I've inserted. So this is my numbers. Now, how am I going to do it is select the cell where you want the average formula to be in. Put equal to, then start typing A, V. As you can see average, average A, average if, average ifs. But we are only writing average because we are learning average. So you write the whole word, right? Now that we have done average, you put the first bracket, right? Using shift, you click onto the first number of the cell range. You go here, you put colon, right? Select the last number of the cell range. Again, click here and close the bracket, right? As you can see, this is my formula. Press enter and you get 56.4, right? So this is very easy to do it. Now, let's say if you're thinking that your average is wrong, you can select all of them and you can see your average here is 56.4. So it's very easy to use average formula, by the way. What you also can do is you can go here and use the average. You see, this has already been inserted. So the other way to do it is, one is that you insert the formula. Second, you select all of them. For example, so let me add some more numbers and you will be able to understand. Do, let's say, and what you can do it is you can select all of them, right? Go to auto sum, right? You see this E mark, yeah? And you click here and you do average and you already get the number, which is 75. You might be thinking that you are wrong, but what you can do is to double check, select all the numbers and you see the average in the bottom taskbar. It's 75. Isn't this much more easier to understand and use it? Average can be used for any cell range, by the way. There is no limit to the cell range for which you are using average. Average is a very important function and a very basic function to use. Since this is an arithmetic function, you will be able to find it in the auto sum itself. So every time, it doesn't mean that you have to do an equal to and write the average. What you can do to save time is select the whole cell range, yeah, and go to auto sum and get an average, right? So this is how you do it. So for example, I'll just select the numbers here. And if you want to do an average, what you can do is I've used both the cell ranges and I get a average as well. You see the separate average is also given here for me, right? So you can choose the cell range and also get your average. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you have to use a different average or see, I've already got the cell ranges and the average here. So getting your average is also easy. Yes, you can use any number of cell ranges, any number of rows and columns to get an average. Make sure you're using the correct formula and you're selecting your rows and columns properly, right? So this is all about average formula. In case you want to know more about the average function and some more examples, please make sure that you visit support.microsoft.com because it has really interesting examples for you to understand the average function. Also, when you get some time, do visit Microsoft Learn to finish a small course on Microsoft Excel and earn few extra credits. Thank you. Welcome to Microsoft Excel session. We have started learning about a whole bunch of formulas right now. We started with the overview of formulas. We have learned about sum and average. What do you think is the next formula that we will be learning? Well, the next formula that we will be learning is subtraction. Now, it's very interesting to know about subtraction, by the way. Subtraction is a formula that does not exist in Microsoft Excel, but everybody uses subtraction, right? So let's understand the subtraction formula in Microsoft Excel. So let's begin our session for the day. Now, to use subtraction, the most easiest way to do is use the minus sign. Now, you know what is the minus sign? The minus sign is in the hyphen sign, by the way. So just beside zero on your keyboard, you will be able to see the underscore sign and the minus sign. The minus sign is something that we use as a hyphen. So you know how to look at the minus sign right now. Now, when you're doing simple subtraction, it is always better that you put in the form. You don't have to put in any formula. What you have to do is equal to, put the number, then do a minus, and then put the whole number there. And you will get the whole result. Now, because there is no subtraction, right, you can convert any number that you want to subtract to their negative values, right? So you can do double subtraction as well, depending on what your negative value is and what exactly is the value that you want. Because there is no subtraction formula doesn't mean that you cannot compute subtraction in Microsoft Excel, right? So let's see how to use subtraction formula. Now we will go back and we will go to the Microsoft Excel document that we were working on, right? Now let's say I want to do a subtraction of these two numbers. So what I will do is equals to, put on the bracket, select this number, right? Put the hyphen sign, which is the minus number, select this number, close the bracket, and I will get the subtraction. So now you understood how to use the subtraction. A simple way to do subtraction is that you go and you put equals to this cell number, open bracket, cell, the first cell that you would want to deduct, use it, and then minus, then the other number, and close the bracket. Now, the brackets are important and the minus is important. As you can see, there is no subtraction formula. Even here, if you are using the recently used, you see sum, you see average, but you don't see subtraction. Does that mean that Microsoft Excel does not use subtraction, or people don't use subtraction in Microsoft Excel? Well, you are wrong. Subtraction is something that is used, but not as frequently. So let's say if you're trying to get the basic addition and differences of the numbers, you can just select the cell range, which is, let's say, for example, I'll just remove this. Excel equals to, I will open bracket, I will do this, and then what I will do is minus this, right? So then you can get the number. Now it will differ because you cannot just do subtraction of all the numbers together, right? That's a different case altogether. For example, if you want to do it, then might as well do sum and then do a proper difference, right? But you can always add and see how to do a addition and subtraction together. For example, I can do equals to, can put sum. I can do, let's say, select this value and select to this value, right? Comma, and let's say use this and do a minus and do this, right? Close the bracket and I will get the, what is the exact sum and minus of this. If you even see the formula that is being used, let's say you put you will get a minus 385 here, right? So depending on what your use is, you can actually do sum and subtraction together, right? So you can look after, but it's always better to use subtraction for two numbers and two numbers separately, then doing subtraction of a whole cell range, which might give you a wrong answer, right? And you do not want to have room for errors. Subtraction can be used when you have less numbers, right, in your data set, and then you want to subtract something, because subtraction is not something that you use also in your data analyzation on a regular basis. So it's always better that when you're computing for a subtraction, you're computing it on two numbers, or just making sure that you're putting a comma and using the other two numbers to do a proper subtraction. Make sure that you can also get a minus negative value. So if it's starting from minus, that means your one number was way bigger than the other number. That is why you're getting it as a minus that number, and you would not want that, right? So make sure that whenever you're subtracting the numbers, you're seeing what are the numbers that you're subtracting, and you're selecting two numbers at a time to do the subtraction. You can also add and subtract at the same time and create an equation. If you want to create an equation, always start with the sum, because you will be also doing an addition to that. And either you can add the minus sign where you want to, or you can also put it. So let's see, if I'm doing this, I will remove the minus from here. Yeah, you see, I have removed the minus for here, and I can put a comma here and again close it. I get a positive value, right? Welcome to Microsoft Excel session. In today's session, we will be learning about another function, which is the multiplication. We started our journey learning about the whole library of formulas that Microsoft Excel stores. And because we are taking and understanding the basic formulas, one of the basic formula is also multiplication. We have learned sum, average, and subtraction. And subtraction is one of the formula that doesn't even exist in Microsoft Excel. But we have learned how to do it. Now we are going to learn multiplication. Now there are three ways we will be learning the use of multiplication. First one is how to just use one symbol and multiply two numbers. The second is how to use the product function and multiply a whole cell range. And the third is using a constant number and multiplying a column of numbers. These three things are very, very important for us to learn. So let's begin our session for today. Now, the first way that we will be learning is using the asterisk, which is an arithmetic operator. Now to locate asterisk, make sure on your keyboard you go to number 8. Above of 8, you will be able to find the asterisk mark. Now how do you have to insert asterisk is click on shift and then 8, and you will be able to use the asterisk factor. Now you can multiply numbers in a cell using the asterisk which is the arithmetic operator. So let's see how to use asterisk. We'll go back and we will go to the Microsoft Excel. Now let's say I want to know what is the multiplication of 60 and 34, right? So we'll do equals to here, and we will, with the open bracket, we will click here. We'll select this number, right? And then we put asterisk, insert asterisk, select the other number, and we close the bracket, right? So you see, equals to open bracket, select the first cell that you would want to multiply, insert the asterisk, then put the second cell that you want to get the product of with the other number, close the bracket and press enter. And as you see, I have already got my number here, right? So this is the number that I was looking for. This is the product of these two numbers. As you can see, I have already got the formula here, right? Now the one other way to do, so let's see, if I want to get the formulas of all these numbers, you see this thin plus sign, what you have to do is just drag it and you get the multiplication product of all the numbers, right? So of these two numbers, you get it here. So if you select here, you will be able to see. Again, here you will be able to see. Again, here you will be able to see. So you will be able to see the number here, right? So it doesn't mean that, let's say if you select here, And if you click here, you see these two numbers have been selected and you got the product of this number. So that means manually I do not have to insert formula in each and every cell. That saves me a lot of time, by the way. This saves me a lot of time because what you are doing is you're just dragging the formula, and we will be learning about drag fill in the next upcoming session. But this is by far one of the most important thing, that manually you don't need to insert formula at each and every time, right? So this is all about the multiplication using the asterisk. You can do this with two numbers. Now let's say I want to do a multiplication of equals to, and I insert a bracket. Let's say insert this number and I do a multiplication. So I will insert asterisk. I can insert this number and I can again do insert, can use this number and close the bracket here. And I will get, of the three numbers, I've got an asterisk. As you can see, I have inserted asterisk everywhere instead of putting a comma, right? Because I've not added any formula here. If you are not adding any function, so what is function? Sum is a function of addition. Average is a function of average. So you write equals to sum, equal to average, and then you insert the bracket. Well, I'm not writing here anything. So for that matter, I will be inserting the first cell I want to multiply with the second cell with the third cell. Make sure you're inserting asterisk so that your number gets multiplied. Now, most importantly, there need not be any number order followed, but be careful that you are selecting those cells that you want the product of. Because when you are multiplying numbers, obviously the numbers are going to increase, right? So this is one thing that you should always remember, that whenever you are multiplying, your numbers will anyway, the amount, the product is anyway going to increase. So whatever numbers you are multiplying, make sure you're choosing the correct cell, right? So we have learned about how to multiply numbers using the asterisk function. Now let's go back to the presentation, right? The next thing that we would want to know is how to multiply a column of numbers using a constant number. Now let's say you have got lot of numbers of a product, right? And you want to multiply it with the price. So let's say in January I had this many products. In February I had this many products. In March I had this many products. In April I had this many products. In May I have this many products, and in June I have this many products, right? And you want to multiply it with the price, and let's say your price is 15 rupees of that product. Now, do you think you will be multiplying it at everywhere manually, saying that equals to this cell into this cell? Again, equals to this cell into this cell. Well, no. What you will be doing is you will be just choosing the number and the constant number and inserting it in one cell. And we will be dragging it so we get the proper value. So let's see how to do this multiplication formula. So we do escape again. So we will click and we will go back to this document, right? Now this is already done. So I'm going to press, right? Now I'm going to write, let's say sales for, so let's say Jan, Feb. I'm going to do a 6-month sale. March, April, May, sorry, June. Now these are my months. Now number of, right? So let me put any random number. Right? This is my number of products. So I'm going to also wrap this because this has anyway exceeded. Now I'm going to be adding the constant. So the constant amount is, let's say, 75 rupees per product, right? Now I need to know what is the multiplication of this, right? What is the price? So let's say this, I can add it with the number, more accounting formats, and I will go to currency, right? And I will choose the symbol from here. So let me scroll down. Sorry. So I'll be using the rupee. And I'll be doing okay. Now that this is done, right? Now I've got to know what is the multiplication value of this. So let's say C. So we'll do equal to, we will insert the open bracket, we'll select this, right? We will insert asterisk and we will select, do 75, right? So we are not inserting the sale number, we are just putting the 75 here, right? And what we do is we close the bracket. And we see the number has come. Now, what we need to do is drag all the way through. Go here, go to more accounting formats, go to the currency, search for the rupee, and as you see, I have got the correct amount of sale that has happened in January, February, March, April, May, June. I have used the formula only once. Select this cell with this cell, but instead of putting the cell number, what you can just do is multiply with the constant amount, which is your 75, and you get the value here. What you just need to do is then drag it down so that you get the proper value for all of them, just multiplying this number with 75, this number with 75. So it's a one-time use of formula. Any number of columns that you want with a constant amount, you can fill it, and there is no limit, by the way. And make sure that you're using, in case there's a currency, you're putting the currency format as well. So this is how you do multiplication with a constant number or an amount or whatever that is there as per your requirement. Now we will learn about the product function. So product function is whenever you want to do a multiplication of a cell range. For example, you want to multiply 10 numbers. So there are two ways to do it. One, we keep on inserting comma and keep on inserting all the cells. So we select and we insert, we select and we insert. The next way to do is simply use the product function. But be very careful because your number might come as a scientific and it is not wrong actually. Just have to format the number a bit. So let's learn how to do product function. Also, another thing that you should know is you can apply product function for only 255 numbers or 255 cells. There is a higher chance that your number might increase, your product might increase. So whenever you're using product function, be very careful of the number of times you're using the product function and for the number of cells you're using product function. If you exceed 255, you might not get the result and there's also room of error, right? So let's go back and learn the product function. So we'll go back here again. And let's say I'm going to add numbers. Now let's say I want to do a product function of this many numbers. As you see, this is my number, right? So what I do is equals to, and then you write PRO. The moment you write PRO, you see the product is already here. So double click, you select the first cell, right? Put colon, select the last cell, right? And you put the, you insert the closing bracket and you put enter. Now you're thinking, why is my number showing like this? What you have to do is you click here, because the product is quite huge. You go to format cells and you go to generally number. As you see, there is no, but this is your number. What you can do is insert select here. You can use 1000 separator as well, right? And you can do OK and you get the proper number. So the thing is, because you have done multiplication of such a so many cells, which is about 1 second, which is about, as you see, 11 cells. You have actually calculated the product of 11 cells. That is why the number is so big, right? So if your number is coming like this, for example, let me do this. Let me select this many numbers, right? So we will just do equals to, again, I'm going to show you, right? PRO, select the product function, double click on it. Let's say I'm going to select this cell and I'm going to insert colon, sorry, colon. Again, I'm going to select this cell and insert colon and the last cell. And let's say I want to put the closing bracket, right? So I've inserted the closing bracket, press enter. As you see, your number has come into this format. Now, this is not wrong. How to do that is right click. You will get format cells. Click on format cells. As you see, this is a general format cell, have no specific number format. Go to number and you select on use 1000 separator if you want. You can even select as a positive or negative number depending how you want the general display to be. I always prefer doing a positive number display. Click on OK and you get the right number. So if you're seeing with any alphabetical letters, just make sure that you're using formatting cells after you have done the multiplication. You will get the product, you'll get the actual product of the numbers of the cell range that you were looking for. Now, please visit support.microsoft.com to know more about the multiplying numbers. Also, how to multiply your column of numbers by the same numbers. There are a lot more, many examples and lot many problems that you can look into and solve multiplication problems if you are facing any. Make sure that you are also visiting Microsoft Learn and finishing a course on Microsoft Excel. Thank you.